How's everybody doing out there? This is the Black Effect. I want to go ahead and get into this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Right now, America is becoming Sodom and Gomorrah, but it's different in the fact that in the Bible, when it's in Sodom and Gomorrah, if you're familiar with what was going on, they had a village of men who were basically these men were the whole city were full of homosexual men. These men had became just totally sexual deviants. Like they were given over to a debased mind. They basically were burning in their lust. They didn't have any understanding. They were just like they were delirious, like they were sexual deviants, criminals, criminally sexual, so much so. And this is a thing. This now in today's day and age, yes, sure, you have the whole LGBT going on, but not everybody who's LGBT is a bad person at the end of the day, or not everybody who's part of the LGBT is cut from the same cloth. Like you have some people who want to include LGBTP into the LGBT. You have some people who feel like they are a certain age or they should be able to be whatever they want, and the other people don't agree with that. But I say that to say that women today have became like the men in Sodom and Gomorrah. The women today have became like the men of Sodom and Gomorrah. What do I mean by that? The women today are becoming sexual deviants. Do you understand? You got women who will just they'll sleep with a man one day. They'll go get a woman the next. The next day they having a baby. Then one day they dressed up like a man, got on some baggy clothes and baggy shorts and calling themselves this and the third. You have women out here getting whole sex changes, cutting their breast off, and then still getting pregnant, still carrying a baby, trying to call themselves a man and still carrying a baby. When you see the LGBT and how far they went and all of that, and who supports them the most, it's women. Do you understand? When you see the women lead the LGBT community on all fronts. Because even if you're a man and you're a part of the LGBT community, if you're a homosexual man, you're already under the women. The LGBT community is a community that is ran by women. And the thing is in Sodom and Gomorrah, those were all men that were doing that. They were so much so burning their lust to where Lot wanted to give him one of his daughters. They didn't even want that. They did not want a woman. It was so much so abomination. You know how much homosexuality is an abomination to God. You don't see abomination in the Bible about many things. But that's not only a sin, it's an abomination to him. Meaning it shouldn't even be on the earth. It shouldn't even exist. You understand? And this is how much it was a disgrace to Lot, because these men wanted to come in there and rape the angels, man. These men wanted, like, they saw the angels who came to visit there, who was coming to survey the land. They were looking at them like, let me get them. Let me get a piece. Women today, when you see other women, they come out, other women, they don't even know these women. And they grabbing their booty. They grab, as soon as they see a woman bending over, she bending over, twerking, like it's the strip club, just at any instance, at any event, twerking at children's events, like this is a kid's event. And then as soon as you see that, you see another woman coming behind her, grabbing their booty, rubbing all over it. They chant, yes, yes. You heard these sayings between women talking about, I ain't gay, but I'll let a chick eat me out. Like, come on, man. No more excuses, man. You are gay. You need some help, really. You have mental and spiritual illness. Your lust has went far to the left. Real talk. Like now your lust is causing something going on in your mind, to where you just give your body to anyone. Your body is a temple of God. You don't value it that way. you have this video of a woman coming out saying that she basically has sex. She have sex while her son is awake. She said basically she would have sex with her baby in her arms while she getting hit from the back. She says she'll have sex with her kid in her arms while she getting hit from the back. You understand? These are the things that women get traumatized children. I've known women who be having dudes who be sleeping with guys who will sleep with a dude while her daughter is in the stroller or is in the crib. Daughter about to be old as hell. Daughter probably comprehending what's going on. This is a little girl, and you have women who will allow dudes, to come into their home and they'll actually have sex with guys while the kid is awake, like in the room. Like, who does that? You should be taken to jail. You understand? That's child abuse, bro. It shouldn't be no children in the room with you while you having sex. You don't know, God at least have the decency to put them in the other room. Have some decency. But again, this is the society we're in today. This is modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And a lot of this just is stemming from the energy of the women. Don't you ever get it confused and twisted. LGBT community is ran by women. That's who runs the community. And right now, this is definitely, you gotta keep it real. If you've been paying attention to society, look at how quick, I'm a person who grew up in the 80s. The 80s, the 90s. I was born in the 80s, the end of the 80s. I grew up through the 90s, the early 2000s. I've seen things switch like this. God is like making things come to the light quicker. Like time is going through its cycle quicker. That's how we're getting towards the end times, because things are happening very quick. It don't take long for you to see the outcome and the fruits of somebody's of what people have sown, the fruits of what they've sown. It don't take long. You could see that. You can if you have any discernment, you have any understanding of how things work. Again, if you just look at life, the family structure has degraded down to nothing. You've had society, people has degraded down to not trusting each other. There's no camaraderie. People are turning on the very thing that has helped them. People always turn on Christians and people who deliver them truth and things that can help them. It's how you see how Jesus Christ got murdered. That's how they killed Jesus, is because you see how it is. If you're speaking truth and you're standing against this debauchery that's going on earth, people not going to like you, man. People not going to like you so much so to where they want to stop what you're doing. Basically, they want to end your life, whether it's financially, whether it's physically, whether harming you, sending you to jail, trying to lie on you, or you've seen them do that to Christians all throughout life. Christians go up against and these are people who try to help and deliver truth. The world's not gonna like them because they shining a light on what the wrong and what the world is doing. And you see in Sodom and Gomorrah, when they were leaving in the Bible, when they were leaving, Lot's wife looked back. Who was the one who, as they were leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, I just told you what was going on there. All type of debauchery. Males were so burned up in their lust. The whole village was homosexual, man. The whole village, every man there, they were homosexual, just flaming. Like how you can go to some places right now, and there's whole hubs, whole neighborhoods. You go up and down the neighborhood, restaurants, hubs that restaurants got freaky names and stuff like that, freaky themes with do for homosexual males. And then you got all type of restaurants and living housing, and they all have grouped together. You understand? This is the same thing that happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was a village and a place where all of these men had grouped together. And Lot, he didn't have the means, I guess, just like some people. But now, this is people are grouping together off of sexual preference and lifestyle. It's people in them neighborhoods who've had their home for a long time. They can't move. They can't afford to move. So they still surrounded by that environment, but they don't fit in with that environment. They don't support that. They traditional people. They don't want to come out their house and see some naked dudes in Speedos walking around, blowing whistles, talking some. They don't want to see that. They don't want their son seeing that. They don't want their daughter seeing that. Do you understand? But yet it's still they have to deal with it. Same thing was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah. And in Sodom and Gomorrah, who looked back? Who looked back? I know a lot of people, they don't know their Bible. A lot of people quote, they want to quote you. Oh man, I love the Lord. Amen. All this. Do you know your Bible? Are you living it, bro? Because if you are, then you know who looked back. It was Lot's wife. God told him that he finna destroy the city, destroy all of that sexual deviancy, all of that sexual depravity, all of that sin, that lust, that all of that wickedness. He said all that abomination and unnatural practices. God said he was fixing to firebomb the city. He said God hadn't done it a lot. It's only been small instances where God have pretty much just did what he does and then blast the whole area. Glassing meaning, how if you had an alien with a spaceship and they like the Covenant on Halo, how they just come through and just spray down a whole area, the whole earth. Nigga just glass a whole continent or glass a whole city. I'm talking about wipe it out. This is what God was doing. He was firebombing a whole city. You have never saw that on earth. Have you except look at I can only give you example for film or something like that, something you could be familiar with. Look at Independence Day. When that ship came and it was standing over that building, and that was New York, I think. And after that, the countdown ended, bang, everything was going. You saw that fire moving through the city. It was, man, nothing could avoid it. Nothing was going to stop it. Nothing. Everything there, it was dying. If it didn't get out of that city, it was dead. That's what God was doing. That's exactly what he did in Sodom and Gomorrah. And you know who looked back in the midst of all that chaos and God doing his 1-2 thing? Lot's wife. She looked back and was like, ooh. And soon as she looked back and was like, ooh, she got turned to a pillar of stone. A pillar of salt. I'm sorry. Pardon me. She got turned to a pillar of salt. God was like, man, this woman is gone. She wants to be a part of that. And that go to show that her heart in her heart, she was wicked. Lot's wife, in her heart, she didn't want to follow the Most High. She didn't want to follow God. She definitely she wasn't following Lot fully. She wasn't being truthful with Lot. She probably had one of them inclinations, like she probably wanted to get her girlfriend. She probably wanted to do a threesome or something like that. She probably had her girlfriend on the side while she was Lot's wife. She looked back. God said, just turned her to a pillar of salt. She blew away. Gone, up out of her. And Lot just went about his business. Because he like, bruh, how you gonna look back? How you gonna want, what God is destroying? God told you what he was doing. Firebomb in the joint. Have you seen what's that movie? Deep Impact? Deep Impact. What is an asteroid? Do you know what an asteroid, do you really know the damage that an asteroid could do? And I'm talking about a small asteroid. Think of an asteroid the size of a freaking car. If that stuff was to hit the earth, it's still gonna do major damage. Imagine God sending multiple debris from space. Imagine that. God sending it from God knows where, from where you don't know where. You know, all that crap that you heard that nigga trying to astrology and all, man, the people don't know nothing. They selling y'all a dream. You know, people act like you really don't know nothing about deep space. God sending them, he can send fiery asteroids to the earth. And you saw that stuff and you looking back like, woo, woo, woo. Man, Lot was like, man, get out of here. See, this is the mindset of the woman. And this is why God has ordained us as men, righteous men. They've ordained women, righteous women, to get with righteous men. That's how it is. If you look at, otherwise you need to go serve the Lord as a nun and a bride of Christ. That's it. Otherwise, you need to get behind a righteous man and support him. That's your purpose here. Don't you get it? That's your purpose. You don't want to go astray. He's your covering. You want to keep your covering. The same with a man. Like, you want to get you a righteous woman so she can be your covering on the earth. You ain't got to be a whoremonger male out here doing the most, going against the commandments of the Most High. Both of you need each other. But women, you have to listen to your man. You can't be out here trying to be a man. You're not one. Don't try to take on a role that's not yours. And stop with this thinking that it's cute and fun for women to go out here and be homosexuals and sexual deviants. There's nothing cute about that. And if you want you a righteous man, that could be a deal breaker with him. If he asking you, you're like, oh, you want to, I had a threesome. I was out here with my homegirl. I was in her booty. Boom, 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 boom. I was motorboating her booty. I was doing all this. Or when a dude see your Instagram and he see you always behind another woman grabbing her booty, smelling her, dude's going to look at that and that's going to disqualify you from getting with a righteous man. That's going to even disqualify you from being with a high value man. Like, that man will take you on, but he's going to always be using you for sexual deviance. Your relationship will never be nothing more than that. You understand? And you'll be in one of those relationships that usually when women, with high value men get with women like that, it's the power dynamic is all the way in the man's favor. And that has to be that way. You understand? Not saying that you can't have your power dynamic in your favor if you are a righteous man. Of course, then the power dynamic is in your favor as well, but it's through a different means. It's not through you trying to forcefully put your foot in your elbow on the chick neck, or you trying to bait her with money, or I'm not gonna get you this, or trying to bribe her. Basically prostitution. That's what goes on. It's an abomination to God. That whole relationship is an abomination. If you have a relationship and you introducing other women, if you're a man and you have a relationship with a woman and you have to introduce other women into the relationship, your relationship has became an abomination. You understand? Now you got your woman doing homosexual acts. You basically then turned her out, man. Women, and again, and that's for the women who not really, who've never done something like that. Now, if you have, like most women, I'm gonna just keep it real. A lot of these women don't have to be turned out by the man. They already on that time, and they have to get with a man who's willing to do that and deal with that. Otherwise, they couldn't even get them a man, because if men were traditional like they used to be, and they was, and women were on that I'm strictly dickly tip, you would never have, when these women who were going both ways, they would be on their own. They would never have a man. They wouldn't have a relationship, because men didn't tolerate that. As far as relationships, what they would do, you would be a late night jump off. You would be nothing but that. And that's to all men, even to the man who, the working man, to the man who's scamming, the man who got, you think got all the money, all of that. It'll be the same, no matter who it is, especially to the man who got his stuff together. He would just basically hit it, call you when he needed to hit it, or just, or hit it and quit it. Either one. But modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, the women are the ones who are the culprits. In this day and age of modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, the women are the leaders. With that being said, it's your man, Nico B, Black Effect. Gone.